Luciano, good to see you. Thanks so much for your time.
Nice to meet you. How are you this morning?
I'm doing really well. This is exciting. F1 the movie
Yeah.
available finally on Apple TV. I do kind of want to ask. This is something when I got this interview confirmed with you, I was so excited to ask you this because I'm a filmmaker as well. And sometimes, you have certain scenes in a movie that feel like their own thing. And I'm wondering from the putting together and choreographing the races for this movie, did it feel like every time you choreographed a race, it felt like its own mini movie, so to speak, and mini journey, or did it all feel overall part of a big movie?
No, that is such a good question. Yeah, we did. We had to separate each choreographed sequence into its own race, and it did feel like we were learning a dance, really.
Yeah.
But also a big part of the choreography was making it feel and behave in the cars as realistic as possible. So a lot of the overtakes that would happen within the choreography started to feel natural, and we had car-to-car radio between myself and Brad, who I drove with mostly. Um, and at times I would speak on the radio to say, right, next corner, this is where I'm going to squeeze you into the wall, but you're going to stay there. And eventually he would just learn it and know it and feel it, which made it even better because it was so natural.
Absolutely. There's so many different ways also we're able to kind of watch and consume media and film. People were able to see this in the theaters. I saw it in the theaters and it was such a
Yeah.
treat with the sound and everything. And now people are going to be able to see it on Apple TV. What's that journey been like for you being part of this team where you make something, you wait, and then a lot of people are finally able to see it? What's that been like for you specifically?
It's been incredible, but with this movie, there was no playbook and there was no real reference. So um, we were making it and we knew we were onto something special because when we were in the cars doing it, it felt crazy. We were going so fast, 180 miles per hour. And I was like, if this doesn't translate onto screen, then I don't know what will, because we're really doing it, we're living it, and it was intense. There were so many times where the whole movie, my role was to keep Brad safe, and Damson as well, together with Craig. And you know, it, it slowed down time into tiny segments because we knew in any split second there was a risk at all times. And so, we were just always kept on our toes and keeping it alive. And yeah, so it was fun. It was fun to do, but also super rewarding to see the end result and how it turned out.
There's always been this kind of tag team and synergy between sports and TV and film. It's always been there, and I'm wondering when you kind of start your career as an F1 driver and everything, that's the focus, to be a driver competing and everything. Is there
Yeah.
ever kind of in your career these conversations or thoughts about maybe there's going to be something in TV or film involved with your kind of career as in F1? Or is that something, or was this like a complete kind of surprise? You had no idea to expect that you'd be doing something like this.
Yeah, I'd worked in a few movies. So I'd worked on Mission
Yeah.
Impossibles before and had a little bit of experience working on set, seeing how the machine works, seeing what a film set is like. So I I was really grateful for those opportunities because it meant that when we got to doing this movie and I had a bigger role, um, I knew the process better. I knew what the camera department were dealing with. I knew what sound we're dealing with, and it was great for us to all work together and make it happen. Because when we shot the race sequences on a Formula One weekend, sometimes we'd only have a 10-minute window to go out there. Me and Brad or Craig and Damson would drive, and we had the tiniest amount of time, and we all had to jump in together and make it work and get what we needed in that time. So there's a lot
Mm.
of preparation, and yeah, it was great to have the experiences before this film.
And the film is nominated for a lot of CCAs this year, which is really
Yeah,
exciting as well. And I did kind of want to ask very quick before we wrap. The sound was something that really
yeah,
stood out to me, right? And I'm wondering, like, when you're, putting together these races, are there a lot of conversations like on the days about the sound component, or is that something that happens afterwards in post-production?
it would happen a bit of both. So for me, not so much. I was focused mainly on the driving, but Lewis was super involved with the sound, with just making sure the details of the gear changes and he was hearing like the sound of walls like against the car, and he could check if the car was in the right gear for the right corner. And we were in Formula 2 cars. We had Formula 2 engines with an F1 body. but they only have 6 gears, and Formula One has 8 gears. So the sound department had to match gear shifts to what we were seeing, and not necessarily where we were changing gears. So they really had their work cut out.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
so it was very impressive to see that they got it right, because even in corners where you know, you're flat out through Cop's corner, they were able to get the tone of the engine right through those parts, and that really
Yeah.
helps with keeping you immersed through this film.
The sound in this movie and these races, man,
Yeah.
phenomenal. I loved it so much. People are going to be able to see F1 on Apple TV, so I'm really excited for people to watch it. Luciano, great chatting with you, man. Thanks so much
And
for your time
you,
and congratulations.
thanks very much. Great to meet you.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.